Today, Baba gives us a very simple method to reduce our problems. And the simple method is reduce your desires if you want to reduce your problems. Now, you see, we have long known that desire is the root cause of sorrow. So all the problems, all the sorrow are because of desire. And many people these days think that desire is a problem only when it is unfulfilled. So if a desire is fulfilled, then it is a source of happiness. But Baba says no, desire itself is the root cause of sorrow and problems. Now we will think a little about it. Now you see, the nature of the soul is to be contented. What is my Swadharma? My Swadharma is contentment. I am designed to be content. I am designed to be content in whatever situation I am in, whoever I am with. Actually, originally for the soul, the external context doesn't matter. The soul is designed to be content in every situation. But then, what is desire? Desire is when you create a thought that I would be happy or happier if this happened, or this happened this way, or I would be happy if I got this, I had this, I acquired this. So what do? That happiness, which is very intrinsic to you, which is your natural state, you just, you externalize that happiness with this thought that I would be happy if I had this, or I would be happy if I had that, or I would be happy if this situation was like this, or I would be happy if this person behaved like this. Then the moment you create a thought of this kind, then you are setting yourself up for sorrow. So instead of telling yourself that I am happy because I'm a soul, I am happy because my father is the source of happiness. So in remembrance of my Baba, I am always happy. Happiness is my nature. Instead of telling yourself that, if you tell yourself that, so you see, you are the master. Your mind will listen to and believe whatever you tell it. You tell your mind that you are happy because you are a soul, the mind is happy. You feel happy. And you tell your mind, I will be only happy when I had this, or I got this, or this happened, or that happened. Then your mind will work accordingly. You are the master. All your body, your hormones, the way you feel, where your attention goes, everything is dictated by you. You are the soul. You are the master. And when the soul has the sanskar of desire, then the soul sets itself up like this. So let's say I'm just sitting, very small thing, and I say, I would like to have an ice cream. I want an ice cream. And then, I cannot be happy until I get an ice cream. Yes, so Baba doesn't say don't have an ice cream, but don't create a desire. If the ice cream is there, you have it. But don't tell yourself, I want it. Because the moment you say, I want it, you are connecting it to your happiness. You are connecting it to your state of contentment, and that is very risky. So, Baba says, don't create any desire. And when a desire is fulfilled, then what happens is this illusion gets stronger that I am happy because of this. So, suppose I create this thought that I will be happy if I ate an ice cream, and then I eat an ice cream, my desire is fulfilled, and then I create that same happiness which I could without the ice cream also. So that happiness is created with a thought, right? So I create the thought that I will be happy when I have an ice cream, and then I have an ice cream, and then I tell myself, hence I am happy because I had the ice cream. So then I am reinforcing my programming that my happiness is actually dependent on getting something, having something, or things going the way I desire them to be. And then what happens is you can never be happy on your own, because you have created a big amount of problems for yourself by telling yourself that you can only be happy when things happen the way you desire them to be. And then, of course, when your desire is unfulfilled, then of course you feel sad instantly. So Baba says, reduce your desires to reduce your problems. So Baba says, do karma. Whatever you get that out of that karma is drama. Don't do anything because you want something. Baba says, you don't get because you want, you get because you do. Is that not the law? So whatever you do, you will get. That's how the law works. So you don't have to want something and then do something and then think that I'm doing this because I want this. No, you just do it. And whatever is in the drama, whatever return you are supposed to get, you will get. So when you create this desire that I want this, or I want this to happen or that to happen, then you are sowing the seeds of sorrow. But if you just, separated your action and the fruit, if you just sowed the seed of altruistic, benevolent, positive, pure action, and then whatever fruit came of it, you just embraced it, then life would be so joyful. So Baba says that don't sow the seed of desire. Just do your karma and you will get whatever you are destined to get because of that karma. And when you create thoughts of desire, you are setting yourself up for problems. And then, desires are endless. So, because when you equate your happiness and contentment with external acquisition, then that becomes an endless pursuit, because the design or the spiritual law is not that you will get happy when you have this, this and that. So when you equate getting something and being happy, then you will never be happy, because that is not true according to the law. And that is why one desire after the other, you are just, setting yourself up that, if this thing happened, then I'll be happy. Okay, I got this, but I was happy for some time, but I was not very happy. Now, if I get this, I will be happy. And then this pursuit becomes endless. But Baba tells us that you are a happy soul. Your father is the ocean of happiness. So don't create this thought, this wrong thought, that I will be happy when I have this, or I will be happy when I get this. That is the thought of desire. Doing your karma and getting whatever you deserve in your destiny is your dharma. It's not there's nothing wrong about it. But then creating desire is what is the problem. And I always give this example. There was one brother and he came to the center in a Mercedes, and then he said, I had just one desire, and that desire also couldn't be fulfilled, and God is so unkind. So I told him, you live in a bungalow, you drive a Mercedes, and what is your desire that God didn't fulfill? So I suppose it must not be something material, maybe something else. So then he said, no, I just wanted a helipad on my rooftop and a charter plane to come, and a charter plane private which would be there parked in my helipad. So I said, okay. So I said, of course, I can't understand your pain, but I would try to empathize with you. So maybe you're very sorry and sad because that didn't happen. I tell you frankly, I cannot appreciate it, but still I will try as your, mentor. So you see, desires are endless. There is no end to material desires, even desires in relationships. You want somebody to behave in a certain way, and they do, and then still you're not content, and then tomorrow you want them to behave in a different way. Yes, so this is why Baba says you are creating your own problems by creating these desires. So how do we get rid of this? How do we reduce our desires? Just remind yourself, bring back your awareness that I am happy and content right now in the moment. I don't want anything to be happy or content. I am happy and content in the moment. I am a soul and I am with Baba, and that is my source of happiness and contentment. That is my reason to be happy and content. I have no other reason to be happy and content. So just keep telling yourself this thing and keep invoking that latent contentment in you. So we are designed to be content, and just invoke that. The more you remind yourself, the more you bring yourself into awareness of your true nature, that nature will emerge. That contentment that you had in Satyug will emerge. In Satyug, the soul is content. And that is why nature cooperates with the soul. Yes, another law you must know, that when you run after desires, the desires run away from you, or the objects of desire run away from you. Have you noticed this? Yes, so whatever you desire, if you're running after something, know that it will run away from you. Anything you run after will run away from you. This is the law. So just Baba always gives this example that when there is a sun and then you are facing the sun, then your shadow is behind you. But when you turn yourself away from the sun, then your shadow is in front of you, which means that if you are faced with Baba, then your shadow will be behind you. Your whatever you want will come pursuing you. But if you are turning away from Baba, turning away from your spiritual stage of contentment, then your shadow will always be ahead of you. You will be following it. And that shadow signifies desires. So Baba says that you must know this law and always create this awareness that I am a content soul. I don't need anything. I don't want anything. I have found the one I wanted. I have found the one I searched for 63 births, and now I want nothing. Yes, so this is one thing. Second, Baba today tells us that we children, we sometimes confuse the word knowledgeful and antaryami. So we say God knows everything, and then people think that by saying that God knows everything, they imply that God knows what goes on in your mind. Yes, so God knows what goes on in your mind, your heart. And Baba says that no, I am knowledgeful. I know the secrets of the drama and I tell that to you. But I don't know what goes on in your mind and what goes on in your heart. And Baba says, why do you need God for that? You are a soul and you are antaryami. You know your heart, don't you know? Every soul knows what's there in their mind and their heart. And the interesting thing is, today a person doesn't want to know what's in their heart and mind. They're constantly running away from their mind. Why do you think, what is the biggest business today? The business of creating something that would distract a human being. If you created something that would distract a person, that would give him the privilege to not face his mind, then you will earn like anything. Because nobody wants to look into their heart and minds these days. Because all that is there is garbage inside. So everybody wants to be distracted all the time. I remember there was this one Mata, and she told me that she watches, like she's on the phone watching stuff, not doing any work or anything, just watching stuff for 14 hours a day. And then I asked her, 14 hours of screen time, and for what? So she said, one moment when I am not watching something, I'm just, I cannot handle my thoughts and my feelings at that time. So my mind is in such a bad shape that I want to constantly run away from it. And she said that I can never think of meditating because when we sit in meditation, we have to do nothing and just turn inwards. And I dread that. I cannot do that. So then I told her, okay, if you don't look inwards, look upwards at least. Look at Baba. So I said, okay, I understand you don't feel like looking at your mind, because when you go to the soul also, when you go inwards, turn inwards, you have to cross your mind, right? You have to cross your thoughts and then go to that center of your existence, which is the core, which is peaceful, loveful. But then if you don't want to do that also, just think about Baba. So I said, just keep thinking and drawing energy and light and might from Baba. So she said, yes, I could try that at least. So you see that we are So everybody is antaryami. If you turn within, you can see what's on your mind, what's in your heart. But why don't we take out the time and just be with ourselves? Because when we are faced with the mind, then the mind is not a pleasant place. And that is why Baba says, when we meditate, when we become soul conscious, detach from the mind also. Yes, so detach from the body, detach from the mind, and just go to yourself, the soul that is pure, peaceful, loveful, that the soul that is a shining star of light. So just detach from your mind. And because the mind is not a pleasant place these days, and only when you purify yourself, the soul, then the mind will become pure and the mind will become a place which will create happy thoughts. So Baba says that everybody is antaryami, the soul is antaryami, but when you don't want to look at your own mind, why should I? So why should Baba look into our hearts and minds and trouble himself when we ourselves are running away from our hearts and minds? So this is Baba says, I teach you to how to detach from your mind and everything and go within and draw energy from Baba. Then second thing Baba today says in the Murli is, or rather the third thing, Baba talks about the power of science and the power of silence. So many a times Baba uses this expression, power of silence. But what is power of silence? So Baba says power of science is very destructive. You can see that. So with the power of science, these days, so much of the resources for destruction are being created. And Baba says, you children you have to cross those scenes of destruction without being even touched slightly by them through the power of silence. And what is the power of silence? Power of silence is not sitting in silence. When you sit in silence, you cannot be silent, can you be? Because when you sit in silence, you are with your mind, which is not silent. So when you are not doing anything with your eyes, your ears, your hands, your feet, then you are with your mind. So mostly, conventionally, the way people try to meditate is they want to just sit in silence, but that will never work, because when you are not doing anything physically, when you are not even seeing anything, when you're closing your eyes, ears, that's the way people try to meditate. Then what you're doing is you are making connection with your mind, because you don't know more than that. You don't know the soul, you don't know Baba. So then technically you are connecting with your mind. And when you are connecting with your mind, how can you be silent? Because the mind is not silent. And that is why when people meditate by just connecting with their mind, then they are in more trouble. Because all the thoughts that some of them they could ignore or brush aside or let go, now they are watching all of it and absorbing all of it. And then if you start taking your thoughts and feelings too seriously, you are in trouble, because those thoughts and feelings are a product of, your devilish sanskars. Yes, so if you spend too much time with your mind, you will go crazy. So this is what is happening. And there are some people, who think that there is something deeper than the mind. They don't know the soul, but then they say that, there is a point which is, separate from the mind, and you focus on that. That even works. But if you are not trying to go beyond the mind, and you're just trying to not do anything physically but be one with the mind, it'll drive you crazy. So Baba, that's why, says that power of silence doesn't mean sitting still and quiet and just, being one with the mind. Power of silence is being soul conscious and remembering Baba. Because the soul is peaceful and Baba is the ocean of peace. So, what is silent? When you sit in silence, you go within and you connect to the source of peace. You connect with yourself as an embodiment of peace. You sit in soul consciousness, you sit in remembrance of Baba. That is when you say you are accumulating the power of silence. And mostly when people are sitting in silence without doing this inner work, so without consciously making the effort to be soul conscious or remembering Baba, then when they get up, they are more agitated than they were when they decided to sit down. Yes, 2 days you sit in silence. What happens when you fight with somebody and then there's an argument and a fight, and then you're sitting in silence? And then what happens? After 2 days, you are blasting like a pressure cooker. So that is not power of silence. Power of silence means going within, connecting with the soul that's peaceful, and going to Baba, who is the ocean of peace. And Baba says, the more you do this, go within, connect with yourself, the embodiment of peace, connect with Baba, the ocean of peace, you are accumulating that power. This power doesn't fizzle out, it is accumulated. And Baba says this accumulated power is called the power of silence. And when you have this power of silence, then when the power of science shows up, when the scenes of destruction happen, then you will be able to stay grounded within despite everything around you being chaotic. And when you are grounded within, when you're stable within, then you can go to the world of silence with Baba, because your final stage will determine your destination. So that is why Baba says, in the end, there will be a contest between the power of science and power of silence. And those who have accumulated enough power of silence will go to the world of silence, because they will win over the power of science. And what is winning over the power of science? So the scenes of destruction will not be able to disturb them, destabilize them. So this is what Baba says today about the power of science and silence. And then Baba today, another point I was thinking about. So, okay. And then Baba today also tells us that we children, we are studying from the Supreme Teacher. And we are studying to become kings of kings. We are studying to become deities. Do you have faith in that? Do you have faith that this study is going to make you the king of kings? Yes, just ask yourself whether you have faith that Baba is teaching you and this study is going to make you a deity. Because you see, it is very interesting, because you see, when I remember there was this one girl and she was preparing for civil services, and she wouldn't waste any second. She would have a stopwatch with herself, and she would keep a tab on how much time she is studying, and she would be very dedicated towards her study. And then I once asked her, your exam is 6 months later. What keeps you so motivated to study exactly 16 hours every day? So she said, I know that if I miss 1 minute here, it's going to cost me my position. Maybe I'll lose some ranks if I miss 1 minute here. So, and she cleared the civil services also. So, what I'm trying to say is, this is called faith. Faith that this study is going to make me that. And if you know this, that this study is going to make you, for example, she knew that this study for the civil services is going to make her a civil servant. And just look at the word, it's a servant you're going to be, not the master. But still, you know that in your awareness, you think that it's a big thing. So then you know this connection that 1 minute here is going to cost you some ranks there. That is called faith in the study. So do I have that kind of faith that this study is going to make me a deity tomorrow? If I have that faith, then I will be very aware of this connection that losing 1 minute here, 1 second here is going to cost me my position in Satyug. Are you that aware? If you're not, then you don't have faith that this study is going to make you the King of Kings. There is faith, and then there is the sign of faith. So just saying that I have faith that this study is being given by Baba, and then this study is going to make me a deity, saying that is not enough. How will you reflect it in your action? Only when you are so concerned about not losing even 1 second here without studying. What is study? So this study has 4 subjects: knowledge, remembrance, paying attention to your virtues, because you can only go to the deity world when you create deity traits. So knowledge, remembrance, paying attention to virtues, and being a constant giver so that you earn blessings. These are the 4 subjects of this study. So are you constantly keeping in your awareness the knowledge? Are you making sure you act knowledgefully? Are you making sure you're always in Baba's remembrance? You don't forget Baba even for a second. Are you sure you're paying attention to your divine virtues? Are you checking what is my virtue in this moment? For example, right now I'm sharing Gyan with you, but what is my virtue? Gyan is my seva. What is my virtue in this moment? So you have to pay attention to the virtue. Maybe my virtue is compassion, maybe my virtue is sweetness. I have to hold on to a virtue, and while I am doing Lokik work, while I am doing seva, while I am just sitting idle, while I am remembering Baba, also I have to have a virtue. What is the virtue I hold when I remember Baba? Being introverted. So I have to stay introverted and then remember Baba. So Baba says, are you paying attention to your virtue all the time? Are you holding on to one virtue or the other every second of the day? Are you paying attention to whether you're giving even in your thoughts and your, with your attitude or with your good wishes? Are you constantly paying attention to being a giver? Or if somebody is in front of you, then how do you serve them with your words or your actions? Or how do you give them spiritual happiness by making a toli and giving them in Baba's remembrance? And telling them that I offered bhog today and this is Baba's bhog. And next time they come to you, they have this thought, I'll get bhog there. Yes, so Baba says, do you understand, do you have faith that this study is going to make you a deity? And every second you are not in this study, you are not paying attention to Gyan Yog, Dharana and Seva, it is going to cost you your future kingdom. Because if you have faith, if you are sensible enough to understand that it is God who is teaching me and I am becoming a deity, then the sign of it will be you will be very interested in spending every second, every thought in a knowledgeful, in powerful, in Baba's remembrance, in a virtuous and serving way. Okay, so this is what Baba talks about, having faith in Baba's study, having faith that Baba is teaching us and the study is going to make me a deity. Okay, Om Shanti.